Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone's doing well and looking after themselves as usual. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is actually a collection update. So I've got some new stuff in recently in different batches, I suppose, but I'm going to separate them because they're different styles of music. Today's one consists more of classic heavy metal and classic rock, and then the next collection update will consist of more extreme metal. So I just thought to keep them in theme, so to speak, I'm going to separate them into two, and that way the videos won't be too long as well. So without further ado, we'll just get straight into it. So what I have today are 3 records and 1 CD. Most are heavy metal or metal related, but as I said, a key term here is classic rock, so it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but once again, if it's not, you don't have to unsubscribe. This is just a different video. Alright, so we'll just get straight into it. So first of all, starting with some classic heavy metal 80s hard rock, I picked up Michael Schenker group with Built to Destroy. So you can see, this has got that pretty iconic cover with young Michael smashing the guitar against the car, and this hot, attractive woman here holding a bottle of wine. It is obscured by the Obi strip, but I did try to remove that for you guys, but it's pretty tightly fixed, so it's staying there. But yeah, it's cool because you can see this is the Japanese version, and you've got the back here as well. Yep, so I have talked about Michael Schenker group before in a previous video. I got Assault Attack recently, and then I thought I really liked that album, so I'm going to give this one a go. Saw it at a cheap price, and the quality, it's secondhand, is not that great. You get what you pay for, but ultimately it's the music that counts. So this is an album, you'll remember Assault Attack had Graham Bonnet as the lead vocalist, and he went on to front Alcatraz. So after he left, he was replaced by Gary Barden on vocals for this album, who does a fantastic job. And the rest of the lineup is the same, I believe. So you've got Michael Schenker on lead guitars, obviously, Chris Glenn on bass, Ted McKenna on drums, and Andy Nye on keyboards. So the only change was with the lead vocalist. And yeah, I have to say once again, based on what I liked about Assault Attack, I also really like this one. It's just classic 80s heavy metal hard rock. When I say, well, not really sort of like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden heavy metal, but sort of it's got that 80s hard rock vibe, I suppose. But just like Alcatraz, I find this band is so stylistically similar to Alcatraz, it sort of makes me picture, you know, a TV show like Miami Vice or a movie like Scarface, like driving in a convertible along the Sunset Strip, something like that, or along Venice Beach. But yeah, really good stuff, just classic 80s hard rock heavy metal with brilliant guitar solos, like all of those elements of hard rock and metal that most people like about this style of music. So no complaints whatsoever. I'll just show you the record itself. So plain black vinyl with chrysalis labels, and like I said, the condition is not the greatest, but hey, it still plays. And what else have we got here? Just a pretty cool Japanese edition, a booklet with all of the lyrics in English and Japanese. Yeah, so this is a Japanese pressing, they have them all translated, and then Michael there. Yeah, so essentially, in my opinion, if I was to describe this album in a nutshell, it's like more of the same thing with regard to Assault Attack. So the same kind of style, and I like pretty much all of the songs on this. Like on side 1, the first 3 tracks just blow me away. They're great. Rock My Nights Away, I'm Gonna Make You Mine, The Dogs of War. Like just such memorable verses and choruses that really make you, you know, it's kind of uplifting and they make you want to sing along. So they're fantastic. Now, tracks 4 and 5, I would say System's Failing. That track is okay, but it's not one of the standouts to me. But as usual, or as to be expected, there's no bad tracks on this. Track 5, Captain Nemo, that's kind of meh to me. Like, it's just like one of those guitar virtuoso instrumental tracks, which is, there's nothing bad about it, but they can either be, you know, brilliant or like not that interesting, and I find that one not that interesting. But yeah, on side 1, the first 3 tracks are amazing. Then we go over to side 2. It opens with probably the catchiest song on the album, and my favorite is Still Love That Little Devil. Like really great, memorable pre-chorus and chorus, great lyrics, and yeah, it just, that song sticks in my head. So if you're familiar with that song, you'll know what I mean. And then also it continues in that vein, like with Red Sky, Time Waits for No One. They are both fantastic tracks. Really like them, and they just clicked with me immediately. So again, who would I compare this band to? I'd say Alcatraz, in my opinion. Like, what do you guys think? But to me, it sounds very similar to Alcatraz. For those of you who know me, I love Alcatraz, so no surprise that I like this band. And then also the last track, Walk the Stage, is great. So yeah, no complaints about this whatsoever. it's more of the same thing which I enjoyed about Assault Attack, so definitely worth checking out if you just like traditional 80s metal hard rock. And oh yeah, like Alcatraz, it's very sort of synthy, you know, in that typical 80s vein, but I love that kind of stuff because it invokes this amazingly 80s atmosphere, which I've always enjoyed. Maybe it's because I'm a child of the 80s, but there you go. So anyway, great album, Michael Schenker Group with Built to Destroy. Okay, so coming up next, this is a band and album which will need no introduction. It's not heavy metal, technically, but essentially they are the godfathers of heavy metal. So of course I'm talking about Led Zeppelin. So I picked this up recently. This is Led Zeppelin, their first self-titled album, otherwise known as One. So obviously the first 4 albums, they were named 1, 2, 3, and 4, but technically this 1 and 4 didn't have a name, but that's how they became known. Anyway, so yeah, the debut album by this legendary band. I've always loved this band. My parents introduced me to them when I was about 14 years old, because having been fans themselves. So the first album I heard was 4, and this one I think came after that. Like 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're all great albums. In my opinion, 1 and 4 are the best. Like 2 I've overkilled, but it's still a great album, and 3 is my least favorite of those numbered albums. The other ones are great, but this has to be my favorite Led Zeppelin album. So as you can see here on the label, the classic 1969 debut album on 180 gram vinyl. So includes Good Times, Bad Times, and Days and Confused, obviously, remastered by Jimmy Page. So this is the original Atlantic release, and I think it's a repress. I noticed that I think Mr. Boulder, James, has also got this version. I saw on his Instagram. Is that right? I don't know. But yeah, brilliant album. Nice portrait of the band there. So I don't need to say too much because most people have probably heard of this band and heard the songs. But yeah, this is just a flawless album. Like, how would you describe Led Zeppelin's music? It's sort of rock, but it's very influenced by blues. But it's starting to develop those metallic, fuzzy tinges, which would later develop, you know, evolve further with bands like Deep Purple and Black Sabbath, and eventually become heavy metal. But yeah, this is steeped heavily in blues, but it's brilliant. I love it. Yeah, so no bad tracks on this. All 8 are fantastic, legendary. So Good Times, Bad Times, such a brilliant opening song, and I love Jimmy Page's guitar solo on that. Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, that's the more sort of like acoustic, powerful, atmospheric song, but it's got this bombastic chorus and everything, fantastic. You Shook Me is a very fuzzy, heavy blues song. I think, was that originally by Willie Dixon? I thought it was Ry Cooder. But anyway, yeah, great song. Like just chugging 12-bar blues, but with some brilliant metallic solos. Dazed and Confused, just epic song. Nothing known like that at the time. Like this album was way ahead of its time, for sure. Then side 2, Your Time Is Gonna Come. Great, very memorable chorus on that. Black Mountain Side is that atmospheric instrumental. Then you've got one of my favorite tracks that I always loved this ever since I was really young, was Communication Breakdown. Like just such a brilliant, catchy song. Great chorus and guitar solo in that, just fantastic. And then you move into some more bluesy tracks again, like I Can't Quit You Baby and How Many More Times is just a great closer. Big build up, such a powerful song. But yeah, I mean, you know all these tracks, so it was probably pointless for me to even describe them, but I can't help how I feel about them anyway. But yeah, so you see here is the legendary lineup. So yeah, Robert Plant, John Bonham, John Paul Jones, and Jimmy Page. Everyone knows it. Yeah, so this version, I have to say, I just saw this, I thought it would sound really good on vinyl, and with this heavy 180 gram version, the sound is just really powerful, clear, and amazing. So I'm glad that I picked this up. If you haven't heard this band or album, what are you doing? Go and listen to it right after this video. So Led Zeppelin 1. Okay, now in the next couple of releases, we're actually straying away from heavy metal, but it's still classic rock. So like I've said many times, I have a pretty diverse taste in music, but it's rock oriented, definitely. So this is another classic band which I love. I also picked up The Doors with Waiting for the Sun. So this one, it says on the front, EKS stereo, also playable on mono phonographs. Yeah, so this is like a re-release as well, on 180 gram black vinyl. I'm not sure. I did have the label for this, you know, with the shrink wrap, but I threw it out. But yeah, really nice cover here. Sorry, with the Led Zeppelin album, there was no insert for that. The same with this, there's no insert or pretty pictures. This is from the old school No Frills days where it was just like the record and that's it, which in a way is, I do like that. Of course, it's always nice to have the pretty colourful booklet, but this is just keeping it simple. Yeah, so The Doors, again, need no introduction. Classic psychedelic rock band from the 60s. I will admit, when I was very young, like in my late teens, early 20s, I never liked this band. I used to think, oh, it's oldies music, you know, in my youthful narrow-mindedness when I only liked extreme stuff. But then about 15 years ago, so in my late 20s, I saw the Doors movie with Val Kilmer, and then that's what made me interested. I'll be honest with you. And then I got into their music through that, and then I realized, hey, when you're older, you know, you open your mind a bit and you can appreciate good quality music. But I really love this band now, and I own quite a lot of their albums, yet to show them. But this is one of my favorites. When I saw it in the record store, brand new, I thought, okay, I have to have this. The sound quality of this is absolutely amazing on the 180 gram black vinyl, just so powerful. Everything is clear, it's great. And yeah, the classic lineup here, it was only one lineup that they ever had. So Jim Morrison on vocals, Robbie Krieger guitar, Ray Manzarek on keyboards, and John Densmore on drums. And this album is underrated. I'll tell you with the track listing. So it's got some greatest hits on this, like everyone knows Hello, I Love You, great catchy song. Also Love Street, which is the sort of softer track, but really great. But what I like about this album is it's got a lot of underrated sort of obscure gems, which I love. So I'll talk about those, like Not to Touch the Earth is a really great haunting track. The Atmosphere with Ray Manzarek's keyboards, and some great memorable lyrics in that, like some outlaws live on the side of the lake with this dark music. It's fantastic. Also, like probably one of my favorites is also Summer's Almost Gone, which is with that pedal steel slide guitar and that melancholic dirge to the music, and the dreamy melancholic vocals as well. It's a great track, Summer's Almost Gone. Wintertime Love, yes, it's a love song, but just incredibly catchy. Like this band has this ability to write really catchy melodic ditties which stick in your head, and that is one of them, Wintertime Love, so great track. Yeah, so they're my three favorites on the album actually, Not to Touch the Earth, Summer's Almost Gone, and Wintertime Love. Then you've also got some other great tracks, The Unknown Soldier, just a classic again, and Spanish Caravan, you know, with some Hispanic atmosphere with the acoustic guitars and everything, and great memorable vocals in that as well. My Wild Love is that kind of chanted song where in the movie, you know, they're singing it when they're out in the desert on peyote or whatever. That's great. We Could Be So Good Together, just another one of those little catchy ditties which they've written, and it's fantastic. Yes, The River Knows, like an atmospheric kind of contemplative track, I suppose. And then it closes the album with one of my favorite Doors songs of all time, 5 to 1. Brilliant track, like amazing, powerful vocals from Jim Morrison, and just like the build up with, you know, the drums kicking in and everything, and then the keyboards, you know, layered over the top for that atmosphere. It's just fantastic. So love this album. It's one of my favorite Doors albums of all time. So that's Waiting for the Sun. Now, again, no insert, so it just comes on this heavy black vinyl, and these labels here. Yeah, quite minimalist, but I kind of like that in some ways. Less is more. But great album. If you haven't heard the Doors and you're looking for a good album to start with, I'd recommend this as one of my favorites. That's Waiting for the Sun. Okay, and the last album I'm going to talk about today is actually a CD. And this is, yeah, it's classic rock. Is it metal related? In a way, and I will explain that in a moment. So what we have lastly, I picked up this. This is Fleetwood Mac's Greatest Hits. Now, before you jump to conclusions, I'm not talking about Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks. This is the 1960s incarnation of Fleetwood Mac, which consisted, of course, of the rhythm section. So John McVie and Mick Fleetwood on bass and drums, respectively. And I've just had a mental blank. Pete Green, that's right. So he was the lead vocalist and guitarist. So this was when the band was a blues rock band. So before they became more sort of mainstream. Because if you're not familiar, Fleetwood Mac has had many incarnations over the years and changed styles several times actually, but this is when they were a blues band. So, but what's interesting about it is I actually bought Metallica's And Justice for All from this second-hand shop on CD. Was excited to have that on the original. I went home and played. It couldn't read the laser. It couldn't read the disc, so I couldn't play it. I took it to the shop and I said, what's going on? And they said, oh, sorry about that. You just have to exchange it for something else. I couldn't see much that I liked, so I got this. But, you know, I am a Fleetwood Mac fan and I'm glad I got this, something different. So, yeah, this is the greatest hits from the 1960s. So it starts off with The Green Manalishi with the two-pronged crown, and metal fans will know, of course, that song was covered by Judas Priest with Rob Halford singing it. That is just a great song. Like, it's sort of, that sort of psychedelic rock veering into heavy metal territory, you know, for that time, I think. Oh Well is such a great track, so like just brilliant lyrics in that song, and it's like a lot of it's just instrumental with no drums, just the vocals, but then the drums and the music kick in. That is a fantastic song. Oh Well, really good. And then they've also got Oh Well Part 2, which is like a tranquil, folky kind of song, completely different in atmosphere, but great. Now, a lot of these songs after that, they're kind of bluesy, like very 12-bar blues, like Shake Your Money Maker, Rattlesnake Shake, but still good songs. Need Your Love So Bad is kind of like a tranquil, somber track. Again, sort of reminding me of the opening scene of With Noel and I, where Paul McGann is sitting at the table, you know, smoking something and just reflecting. It's that kind of soft atmosphere. Then Dragonfly is like a very atmospheric sort of 60s psychedelic rock song, a bit in the vein of Cream, I would say. So like you see how this band is sort of, even at that time they were jumping between styles like blues and then sort of psychedelic rock, hard rock, I suppose, but all really good. Then of course it's got Black Magic Woman. Everyone knows that song. It's great. Who wrote it originally? I don't know. I know Santana played it, but I'm not sure who wrote it. But anyway, great song. Mixed drumming on that is great. And then the instrumental, everyone knows the track Albatross, probably. Now, to be honest, the last 3 tracks on this album don't grab me all that much. They are Man of the World, Stop Messing Around, and Love That Burns. They're more sort of like somber, slow, reflective love song tracks, but you know, they're still good. This is the kind of album it's good to sit back and listen to if you're just having a chilled Sunday and having a few beers, something like that. But yeah, some of the songs I really like on it. So my favorites would probably be The Green Manalishi with the 2-pronged crown, Oh Well Parts 1 and 2, Black Magic Woman, and Dragonfly, I would say. Yeah, but all really good stuff. Just a very old school layout in this booklet. And yeah, the reason why Pete Green left this band, it's quite a sad story actually. Like in the 60s when the band was touring, I think it was in Germany, he met these people from a hippie commune who took him to this Schloss, you know, put a beautiful woman in front of him and sort of offered him psychedelic substances, and then he took a couple of blotters and never returned to reality. So that's why he left the band. So like I'm sad because he was a very talented musician, but the legacy of his music lives on. Like it's a great era, and I think he's still playing actually. Is he? I don't know. Yeah, I saw in a recent documentary. I think he is anyway. But yeah, like his music has been so influential. It was way ahead of its time and influential on a lot of bands. Obviously, like Judas Priest. So you see how it sort of, in a way, indirectly paved the way for metal music later on down the track. But anyway, something different for me. But if you like sort of fuzzy, garagey 60s rock, blues rock, this will probably be up your alley. So Fleetwood Mac Greatest Hits. Alright guys, so I'm going to leave it there for today. 3 records and 1 CD, all in that sort of classic rock, loosely in that genre you could say. Now, if people are disappointed saying I want some more extreme stuff, don't worry, that will be in the next video because I got some more stuff in where it's all extreme metal, like black and death metal. But as I've said before, it's good to have variety on the channel, and I just wanted to separate the 2 videos to give them some sort of set theme. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks a lot for watching. I hope you join me again for the next video, which will be coming soon. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.